Hey, this is Gordon for Inspiration Touch, and today we're gonna talk about the difference between 2D and 3D animations in terms of difficulty. So animation can be simple or complex, whether it be 2D or 3D, and it all depends on your project, of course. The main difference between 2D and 3D is that in 2D it is animating drawings, and in 3D it is about animating virtual puppets. But of course, it is more complex than that because the production process involves a lot of steps, especially in 3D. So let's talk about now the major differences. In 2D animation is something you create frame by frame. So it is simple in concept, but it is time consuming and methodical. And the level of difficulty depends on your skills and the quality of your project. And you will find it easier if you draw quickly and efficiently. And this is something that is going to make it a whole lot easier. And in 3D, 3D animation is not about creating every frame from scratch like in 2D. And you don't even have to animate every frame. You set the beginning and ending position of your animated character or object, then the software will do the frames in between. It's not that easy, of course, when it comes to the real work. Then, of course, you need to tweak the animation if it is necessary. 3D is very technical, which means you need to learn a lot of technical skills in order to be able to create animations. And this is one of the biggest differences between 2D and 3D. 3D animation have lots of elements to prepare before starting to animate, otherwise it is not going to work. I hope you got right now a good solid idea about the differences, and now we're going to talk about the process which makes 2D animations and 3D animations possible. And in 2D, of course, it starts with a script, of course, and when it gets greenlit, it goes to production. Then the storyboard includes movements, angles, cameras, and timing of shots. This is basically the same whether it be in 2D or 3D. Then we go to layout for scenes and environments, which is the preparations of scenes and position of characters and stuff. And then the animation, which involves key drawings or frames. Then the cleanup of these key drawings so that the lines don't vibrate when it comes to movement and animation. Next, the smoothing of the animation, which we call intercalation. Cleanup of the intercalation is the next process or next step in the process. And finally, ink and paint. Now they are doing this process digitally because they used to do it by hand before, and it was actually beautiful and difficult to do in the same time, and time consuming, of course. There are several 2D applications that make the 2D animation easier, and it will automate the movement of objects by keyframing attributes on the timeline. There are also software that can help you speed up the animation, like motion tracking, so you can add animation on top of existing footage. You can also use 2D software to add visual effects to 2D scene, which is something very difficult to do using traditional drawing, if not impossible to come close to in terms of quality. Now let's talk about the process of creating 3D animations. Of course, it starts with script and storyboard like 2D animation, and then we get to the real difference, which is modeling. In this process, we create everything you see in the animation movie, from props, environments, characters, everything. Then rigging. It is about creating skeletons, bones, skin, clothes, hair and hair control dynamics to be able to move the characters. Next, texturing or surfacing, which is about creating textures, colors for surfaces, and interaction with lighting. Next, layout, which is the step between pre-production and production, and this is the same, almost the same in 2D, which is about creating environments, scenes, and positions of characters, and so on. Animation, which is the part in which characters start taking action. Next, visual effects for characters and environments, and this includes a lot of stuff, not just explosions, but like dust, smoke, vapor, I don't know, footprints, for God's sake. Everything is part of the visual effects department's work. Next, matte painting, which is the process of creating backgrounds for the environments like skies, mountains, forests, and so on. And this includes basically everything that is not gonna be part of the modeling department work. Lighting is also a big part of animation because it kind of creates or breaks the effort of the people who created what came before lighting, finally cameras and rendering. And this is the final step in which they set up cameras and they start kind of rendering the animations they created, and they create the higher quality possible, and then they give it basically to rendering farms, which spend up to 20 to 30 hours of power rendering for each single frame. And the movie or the animation probably includes tens of thousands of frames. So in the end, I would say that it all depends on your personal preference and what you personally find more interesting and enjoyable when working with, because both are difficult and money or time consuming. So I hope you like this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up if you will, and share this video because this really helps. And I will see you in the next one.